WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app.
Football fans, welcome to this episode of Field Vision, brought to you, of course, by War Room Sports, in conjunction with the Sports Kings, who are still missing in action.
With who?
They're missing in action right now, the Sports Kings, man. Yo, shout out to Landry Jones. I got my homies with me at the round table to chop it up about some football real quick. We got Fred Perdue of About Sports. What's up, Fred?
Surprising picks.
Okay, he said he got some surprising picks. We shall see. We got my brother B. Austin from, War Room Sports. What's good, beloved?
Yo, real quick, who would you take in their prime? Michael Vick, Colin Kaepernick, or, drumroll, Landry Jones?
The Michael Vick experience, man. Yo, forget passing the ball, just hike it and run it, yo.
Michael Vick did get to a Super Bowl.
Whoa! He got to where?
Almost to a Super Bowl. Sorry, almost.
Yo, Fred already making shit up. We ain't even get the show started yet, man.
Yeah, Michael Vick almost got to a Super Bowl.
All right, man. Listen. Before Fred,
Mike Vick can't go left. That's probably what you think.
That's an inside joke. Y'all won't get that. Yo, before Fred pollutes the air with some more of his BS, man. The major story I want to talk about this week, and as we're doing the show, they're playing the game against the Niners, which they probably should win. If they don't win this game, we really have a problem. But it seems like the Patriots haven't recovered from losing that bowl. Now, they went to back-to-back. I'm sorry. Well, them too, but I just want to throw some little shade at Fred. But the Seahawks are currently playing the Niners. It seems as though they haven't recovered from that Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, is what I was trying to say. They went to back-to-back bowls, which is an accomplishment in itself.
They're not charged up.
Guys have left, obviously, because when you win back-to-back bowls, people trying to get paid. But the core of their team still seems to be there. But they aren't playing their best football. They started to get Jimmy Graham involved in the offense last week for the first time all season, for real. But my question to you guys is this run over for the Patriots in terms of being that elite team that people are scared of?
It'll be over. It'll be over for the Patriots.
Not so fast, my friend. We're
not over for the Patriots.
I want to throw shade at Fred's team so bad. I keep saying Patriots. But listen though. The Seahawks, it seems like people aren't scared of the Seahawks like they used to be. I've watched every game this season they've played, and it's like people don't have that same level of fear that they seem to have the last 2 years. When the Seahawks came to your building or you came to their building, they kind of chumped a lot of teams. The Panthers,
it's not a fear.
Go ahead, B. Austin.
It's not. It is that fear thing, but that the lack of fear comes from strictly this season and what people are seeing this season. And this season, I mean, the difference between being a great potential Super Bowl contender and mediocre is slight, man. It's slight in the NFL. And for them, missing Cam set them back defensively. Some of the pressure.
Been gone for 2 years.
I don't think they miss Browner. I don't think they miss Browner as much.
That physical side, man.
I mean, he's physical.
He was a liability, but he was just nobody.
Exactly.
He was a liability with New England, but the fact that he was just so physical.
He's been going this season as well as last season, right?
Yeah, he's been going 3 years.
Last year,
going
3 years.
He's been going 3 years. He was suspended for that 1 year. So I don't think they're missing Browner as much as I would say Cam, and a little bit of that pressure up front. A little bit of the depth that they had on the D line, that's costing them. And then
they've been trying to solve that problem on the other side.
The other side of the ball, offensively, they never were a juggernaut beyond being able to maul you. So being able to have Marshawn Lynch maul you for 3.5, 4 quarters when they didn't have to score wasn't a big deal.
But B. Austin, here's what's interesting.
If the offense can pick up the slack, but
the thing is, the offense is actually scoring though. If you look at look at their scores throughout the season, what's interesting is their offense is actually putting up more points this season than last season. The problem their problem is their defense isn't as dominant as it once was. I don't think it's Browner either, considering how long he's been gone, but there's something there. Maybe it is what you said in terms of people watching them this season. But and I'm not going to stand to your Patriots no more, Fred. I'm like programmed to hate the Patriots.
I won't say it. Okay, if it may not be.
Go ahead, Fred. Give your opinion. What do you believe is going on with the Seahawks this season? Because it just doesn't seem to be. They don't seem to be as dominant as they once were.
For me, I look at the other side of Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman stays on one side of the field. He's your boundary corner. He's gonna play that deep third. You have Earl Thomas over the top, but you don't have anybody on the other side. So I can attack that other side. You tried to do that with Brandon Browner. He didn't fit because of the PED usage. You got your man. I'm losing his name is escaping me right now, but he's with the Eagles now.
Maxwell.
Byron Maxwell, who has been I won't say awful, but he hasn't been great either.
Why wouldn't you say awful? Why would you not use the right word?
But you know what though? He didn't look that bad when he played in the Seahawks team. For the Eagles, he looks like when you're
the fourth piece of four players in the secondary, and they can cover up for you. They can roll Earl Thomas over to you. They can roll Cam Chancellor over to your side. Mm-hmm. You have a pass rush. The pass rush doesn't seem like it's there. They're on offense. It just doesn't seem like they're staying on the field long enough because defensively, that defense is out there a long time. And you can't stay on the field long enough. Marshawn Lynch hasn't been there. Their receivers don't separate. Paul Richardson was brought in to be that deep speed guy. Injury. Ricardo Lockett he's great on special teams, but you can't win on special teams. I mean, you can't literally win every game based off of that. And the one thing, when I see location, the one thing I've always noticed when they're so feared at home, it's nighttime and it's raining. So most teams, when it's raining like that, you have to account for, well, we can't throw the ball as much. Well, most teams aren't physical like that anymore. They're running these up-tempo spread offenses. I can't throw the ball. Well, that's a super shock. We're on the West Coast. Most teams that travel west don't play well because of the time difference, even if it is late at night, or in the evening time. But rain does go into it, and that goes into the later parts of the year. Especially when it's cold, it's rainy, teams don't want to be there, it's loud. All of that goes into it. These are not robots. These are human beings still, and they still have to weather those elements.
I think still when we talk about the offense and them scoring more this year, it's more a function of the pace of the game and them being behind and having to catch up, not so much.
Well, Fred made a point too, though. Even if the offense is scoring more, let's say the offense is producing better within the passing game. Because they seem to be in the passing game, that is. Does that go to the way they were playing football the last couple years?
No.
Because
it's a necessity. Marshawn Lynch isn't on the field.
Right.
Yeah. So the thing is, they're not like running the clock out, giving their defense the.
I'm sure if you went back and looked at every single statistical game, you say, what is the time of possession? Typically, they lead in time of possession. Yeah. If your possessions are less than 4 to 6 minutes every time, you're punting the football. Your defense is on the field a long time.
Allow me to the liberty to use an analogy that I think our brother Jimmy will grasp completely as an MMA fan. GSP likes to ground and pound. But if he stands up and throws blows with a guy that's a hitter, a Muay Thai guy, then you're going to see him land a lot more punches, but the style didn't favor him winning.
Understood.
So it's like, Seattle is scoring more points. They're throwing the ball more, but that still isn't their strength. If you got to depend on Curse, Doug Baldwin-Hills, and a Jimmy Graham who doesn't want to be there, and Lockett who doesn't really know how to play football yet, it's not going to favor you.
Now here's the question. Now here's the question.
Get production.
Here's my question. Hold on, Fred. Here's my question now, because Marshawn Lynch isn't getting any younger. So as a coach, doesn't this now fall to coaching? When you see that, after Marshawn Lynch, who's going to take that spot? Don't you have to kind of like adjust the way you approach the games? Because you don't have that ground and pound now with that defense. So
you have to upgrade the receivers, and I think they tried to do that with Jimmy Graham, and understanding that Russell Wilson isn't going to be great throwing outside of the hashes. So they started to build that by giving him a large target that works in between the hashes. That's the start. Then next you get guys on the outside that can actually, do something outside the hashes and are special. Then the last piece that you build into the passing game is you go find your slot guy, your Emmanuel Sanders, your Julian Edelman. So they got to build it in stages, but Russell Wilson has to prove that he can be that elite passer. They paid a lot of money to a guy who's never shown that you can count on his arm alone to win games and produce points.
Fred, go ahead. What's your point?
The difference for me, I've always said and granted, Andrew Luck hasn't been great this year, but minus this year, the difference has always been Andrew Luck doesn't have a defense. He's always had to do it on his own, so you know what you're getting.
Right.
With Russell Wilson, the question has always been, can he throw the ball? And it also has been, when you start paying guys on defense, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Wagner, Bruce Irvin if he decides to stay, Michael Bennett, and then you pay Russell Wilson, who's the last guy. He's going to be the most expensive. Where are you getting any of the other pieces? You're not. You're going to draft guys.
Now you got to draft.
Now you got to draft well. You got to draft well.
Because the teams that are great, the Packers, the Patriots, those guys win in the draft. The Patriots, you don't know anybody they're drafting.
I totally agree.
You don't know anybody the Patriots.
The Patriots got a receiver named Keyshawn. I don't even know his last name.
Keyshawn Martin was a guy.
Who is he?
Keyshawn Martin was a pretty good player in college, but he was a 6th, 7th round type of player. He's a slot receiver. But he played in the same exact offense with Bill O'Brien with the Texans. He fits.
But that's my point. I'm actually giving you a team.
We do this professionally, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't know nobody but Gronk and Edelman, and Amendola.
Amendola, Brandon LaFleur. I mean, guys that you don't. Heck, Dion Lewis was a nobody.
Listen,
we're not turning this show.
It's not about the Patriots.
Giving the Patriots a pumpkin, but we can. No, I get you. No, I get your point though, Fred. I get your point. So my final question in reference to the Seahawks is it over for them? I mean, the Cardinals have seemed to be the best team in the division right now, but they're not running away with it either. Because just like I told you guys last week when I picked the Steelers and y'all both laughed at me because I watched it back, y'all both laughed. Anyway, so what do you guys think about the Seahawks? Is it over for them this season?
No, I don't think it's over because those guys are young enough for you to make the adjustments. Like if their core decides to stay, then it's really about making adjustments and adding personnel to that core to make it work. I think if I could draw another comparison, look at how the Giants have success. They go to a Super Bowl, then they fall off and they're 7-9. They go to a Super Bowl and then they fall off and they're 7-9. I think that's what we could see with the Seahawks because they're not that far off of what they were when they went to.
So let me real quick. So what you're saying is,
but Russell has to improve. Russell also has to improve.
So what you're saying is they may not compete this year, but then the following year to be right back in the mix.
It's essentially like almost like the Ravens too, because the Ravens are a team just like that. They're 1-5, but it's mainly due to injuries and attrition. You lose Torrey Smith, Steve Smith is not. He's there.
I think Fred, I get your point. That's a great comparison. Yeah. I think that's one of the great things about the NFL that other sports just don't have, and that's that parity. You make one or two moves, and you're right back in the midst of things. I mean, the Ravens won a bowl a couple years ago. Now they're 1-5. Look at Cincinnati right now. I mean, football.
Top to bottom, they're the best roster in football, and it's all through the draft. They don't bring in guys. The one thing I do see that Seattle needs to do, and I know Pete Carroll doesn't want to just put all his resources there, but the offensive line is just. They're not a great offensive line. They have some names, big-name college players, but if you say, who has some of the top offensive lines, you don't say Seattle. It's Marshawn Lynch making that offensive line.
No, we get it. I mean, offensive line. Listen, man, me and B. Austin got a theory, man. Fat boys win football games. And that's all the trenches. So we definitely agree with that, man. But so we'll see.
Get to these games.
We'll see what happens with the Seahawks. We got to get to these games real fast before we get you out of here. Bills and Jags. That's in London. 9:30 a.m. I don't know whether that has an effect on the teams or not, Fred, but who you got in this game?
No T-Mobile, a.k.a. Tyrod. No Sammy Watkins. E.J. Manuel is starting this game. EJ Manuel.
He didn't look that bad last week, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the words of Tobias. Let's be honest here.
He didn't look bad last week, but now we have a full game film on him. We have a full game, and you're giving Gus Bradley, by the way, the former Seahawks defensive coordinator, time with a younger team. I'm taking the Jaguars.
You know what I don't like? You know what I don't like about this? They're calling it a home game for the Jaguars, but you kind of get ripped off because it's not really a home game.
Yeah. They're just they're the home team in uniform color.
Yeah, that's kind of corny. But so you're taking the Jags. B. Austin, who are you taking in this game in London?
I'm taking the Jags just because of the injury factor. I think T-Mobile at this stage is evolved enough and developed enough to be a factor in why they win offensively and what they do offensively. They're not able to do that with EJ Manuel because he's ass. He's ass. Yeah, he's not. He's Geno Smith. He's Geno Smith. So yeah, I gotta go with the Jags, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to because I would take the Bills if T-Mobile was there.
Yeah.
Now here's my point. I'm taking the Bills. I would take the Jags if they really had a home game, but this is London.
They don't have a home game when they at home, so.
Yeah, this is true. I'm taking the Bills on the road, if you can really say that.
The ultimate road game.
So that's one game. The next game I want to get to, hold your thoughts, Fred. We have the Jets at Fred's New England Patriots. My brother B. Austin. What do you got in this game, the Jets or the Patriots?
Obviously, I always want the evil empire to lose, so I'm always rooting for the rebellion to win. But I gotta go with the evil empire, just because Darth Vader at the quarterback is Darth Vader, and Fitzpatrick makes me nervous because
I gotta hashtag that.
As long as you put a WRS in front. I feel like Fitzpatrick can play well. But he's mediocre at best. So he's always subject to have a bad game, or he's always subject to have a mediocre performance, and he can't stand up to the heat against Darth. Darth Vader's going to use the dark side on him.
I'm going to pick the Patriots in this game. They're getting a real home game. The Jets at the Patriots. I can't pick against the Patriots at home. It's just that simple. Fred Purdue, I know you had some thoughts on this game. You are a Patriots fan. You're wearing a hat. You going with the bias or what, man?
JETSSS, go Jets.
JETSSS. You mean Jets? But hold on though. You're picking the Jets against your own Patriots at home. What is your logic? What's your thinking on this, man?
That defense. Brady has always struggled with that defense. If anything else, he's always struggled with that defense. And I have to say, Todd Bowles has done a great job. Chris Ivory, the running back, has always been pretty solid for that team. You have Brandon Marshall. I've still got that APB out on Eric Decker, but boy, I have not seen him in like 3 seasons now. But he
is whack.
I have not seen him since the Seahawks obliterated him in the Super Bowl, and he took that money and ran straight cash.
They got fooled.
But that team, they have weapons, and I feel like with Revis won't be as much of a factor as many see him because the Patriots don't throw the ball down the sidelines as much. Especially against a team like the Jets, they play that inside passing game. But Julian Edelman's hurt. He had last game. He actually against the Colts, against that whatever that was that they decided to put under center during a punt, but. Dang, I said the Colts. I wasn't supposed to say the Colts all week. I call them Puntgate all week. But Julian Edelman dropped a lot of passes, and it was because of a dislocated finger. Dante Hightower, one of the pass rushers, stud pass rushers we have, is not actually even going to be playing in that game as well. So you're going to have you're going to have to send some more blitzes, dropping into more coverages. Brady's going to be on his back a little bit because those defenders are going to keep.
Fred is scared of that D line. Because they do get pressure with 4 as opposed to sending blitzes. But I want to be very clear here. The thing that makes Belichick is his ability to isolate matchups and create matchups and neutralize your strength. So here's what the Jets have. They have 2 pretty large-sized, outstanding athletic corners who play the boundaries well, outside the hashes. What does Brady do? Can Brady get the ball out there? Of course Brady can.
Yes, but he plays
That's
the inside.
not where they throw. They throw the ball. So now the question is, can Buster Screen stop Edelman and Amendola? That's where you're at. And can their safeties down the middle, or in the Jets case, they use their linebackers, can their linebackers match up against Gronk? And the answer is
Gronk has been kind of quiet lately.
Hold on. And don't y'all forget my young boy Keyshawn. Young boy Keyshawn, man.
Young boy Keyshawn plays outside, and young boy Keyshawn can't do nothing with Cromartie, let alone Revis. So he's
exactly. The only thing that leaves me a little worried that I may be wrong. Last week, LeGarrette Blount, really the last 2 weeks, LeGarrette Blount has been on a tear. It's like he just he remembered.
I kind of feel sorry for the era that LeGarrette Blount came into the NFL in, because I feel like 20 years ago he'd have been on his way.
Exactly.
He's been on his way, yo. His talent level, he's the most talented running back that the Patriots have had in
any
20 years.
at all.
You said 20 years? What about Corey Dillon? Corey Dillon, man.
He's better than Corey. My favorite Martin is the only guy in my favorite Martin is better, but outside of him, he's better than Corey Dillon.
You're saying LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount is better than Corey Dillon.
Oh, B. Austin. That's what I thought.
Yo, stop it, man. Stop it, man.
Runner.
That's what I thought you had it all.
No, man, not better than Corey Dillon.
No.
Corey Dillon was that guy. I don't think you remember how good Corey Dillon was.
No, I do.
Corey Dillon was that guy.
Corey Dillon may knock. He's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's knocking on it.
He won't be knocking on it either. No,
put it like this: Corey Dillon's a lot closer to that Hall of Fame than LeGarrette Blount will ever be.
Exactly.
That ain't from his time as a Patriot.
I mean, LeGarrette Blount's good.
That ain't from, what y'all talking about is when he was when he was a Bengal. When he was a Bengal, he
Corey
was
even when he 1,000-yard back with the Patriots, though.
Yeah, when he first got to the Patriots, he still was putting in work though. But that's the thing, man. We got one more game to get to, man. Fred is going against his squad. I'm completely shocked they're playing at home.
Only time you'll ever see this ever.
All right, now Fred, Sunday Night Football. We have the Eagles at the Panthers. Who you rolling with in that game? The undefeated Carolina Panthers.
At some point, you can't overcome everything. I'm going with the Eagles. I don't like it.
Whoa, on the road.
Why?
So you're taking the Eagles on the road against the undefeated Panthers team, and you're taking the Jets on the road.
I do not like
against the Patriots.
Because with all that being said, I got a feeling Sam Bradford's about to throw like 2 pick sixes. But at some point, not having any weapons and Cam Newton comes to an end of being undefeated. That defense is great.
I know that some of our listeners on the podcast and viewers on YouTube will want me to ask you this question. What are you high on right now?
What are you smoking?
Is it dope or dog food? B. Austin, who's a resident Eagles fan, Eagles at the undefeated Carolina Panthers. What you got?
Yo, I'm taking the Panthers. I think that our defense is legit. I think our defense is real. Sans Byron Maxwell. Sans Byron Maxwell. I think our defense is legit. I think that the D-line is where we got to see the vast improvement, and I think there was a breakthrough against the Giants. So I think that we're going to see more production, not so much out of even just the starters, Fletcher Cox and Benny. You know what you're going to get there, but Vinny Curry and Brandon Graham are going to ball. I believe in our defense. What I don't believe in is this cockamamie college East-West offense that Chip Kelly, a.k.a. Winnie the Pooh, runs. See, now here's the problem, right? Chip Kelly's cockamamie Winnie the Pooh offense would work if you had superior athletes, not work to the tune of being a playoff.
If you had Jeremy Maclin, Deshaun Jackson, and LaShawn McCoy still?
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy, exactly.
You actually cut the other guy?
Right. You would get some production, but with the tools that we have, we run an offense that's based on going side to side, east to west, sideline to sideline.
That may help you though this game because
this game maybe
the Panthers are a little banged up in those linebacker positions.
I believe in the Panthers defense like I believe in our defense, and the lower the score is, the more it favors the Panthers, and we can't score. Like, we're no longer a team where we go 3 and out, 7 times in the first half, and then all of a sudden there's an explosion of 4 touchdowns, and you see the score, and it's 35, 34, 37,
yeah, that's when you
38.
had
We
African
don't have that
Americans on your team then.
Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that anymore, and so the scores of the games have been in the low 20s, and that doesn't favor us at all. And I haven't seen the breakthrough on offense. Listen, that Giants game that the Eagles just won, we didn't really win that. Newsflash. We just lost it less. We lost the game less than the Giants. The Giants lost the game more than we did, and our defense showed up and played both sides of the ball. So the defense was playing offense.
You got the Panthers.
I got the Panthers, man. We're not good.
He's going to so B. Austin and Fred both picking against their teams. Fred is picking all kinds of crazy picks this evening, man. I'm gonna roll with the Panthers. They're playing at home. Cam Newton is playing his best football of his career.
That's your client, of course.
Definitely not my client, but he's playing the best football of his career.
Disclaimer, man. You ain't got nothing in Denver.
No, dog. I'm not claiming Cam. That's not. He's not my client at all. I just acknowledge the fact that he's working at his craft and he's getting better. That's simple as that. But with all that being said, I'm taking them. Before we get out of here, any last thoughts, Fred?
He signed a contract. Jimmy gets 3%.
Oh, Todd Bowles, cut the check, man. I'll never do this again. Cut the check.
Austin, final thoughts before we get out of here.
Yo, Riley Cooper, the Confederacy lost, man.
Oh,
lost, man.
Yo, shout out. My last thought is shout out to Michael Jordan, aka Adrian Peterson. For those who watch this video, don't forget, share this with your friends, your family. Chop it up with us. Let us know what you think. You can listen to the audio on SoundCloud as well as our mobile app or iTunes. WRSPN.com for the podcast network. The video, WarRoomSportsTV.com, as well as our YouTube channel. Don't forget, share everything that we do. You can catch anything that we do at WarRoomSports.com. As we always say, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on
Free
top.
the Sports Kings.
I'm sorry, Patriot Nation. I'm sorry.
Kuwait, it's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and